Well, there's so much debate, discussion, disagreement. Everybody wants to be an expert this time of the year. Pick that 12 over the 5, the big upset. But let's focus in, guys, on the Big Ten teams, the 6 Big Ten teams which have been selected for the 2014 NCAA tournament. And I'd like to know what you think have the best and worst draws in terms of their ability to get to the Sweet 16 and beyond. Let's start with the best draw through the early portion of the bracket, Steph.
I like Michigan State. I like Michigan State not because of it's an easy road or certain matchups. I just think they're playing the best basketball. The Big Ten tournament was terrific for them. They are dominant. They've been playing terrific basketball since they finally got healthy. And you look at a possible second-round matchup with the Cincinnati, a tough athletic team, rebounds the basketball extremely well. But if you look in that bracket, if I'm Michigan State, there's not one team that I fear on the road to the Final Four. I think it's a national championship caliber team.
You don't fear Iowa State? To me, the Cyclones are a very dangerous, very talented team.
I think they're a very dangerous, very talented team. But if you're Michigan State, with the pieces that you have on the floor, if you're playing your best basketball at this time of year, I think that they can beat anybody in the country. Now it's just, can they use the momentum they gained in the Big Ten tournament to go out there and to put that together throughout this tournament?
Yeah, they were an absolute buzzsaw down in Indy. Michigan gave it their best shot on Sunday, but stood almost no chance.
Yeah.
Spartans playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder right now. What about you, Shon? Who do you look at and say, man, that path on the way to Jerry World looks pretty open?
Well, it's hard to argue with Michigan State, but I'm going to go with the Wisconsin Badgers just because they start off playing in Milwaukee. This is a team I actually like to win the Big Ten tournament. That shows me what I know, but they're playing at a very high level. I think this team, Rick, you and I have talked about it over the course of the last few weeks. I think this team might be built more for March than any team that Coach Bo Ryan has had because of their offensive versatility, and they can also defend you. They have a guy in Josh Gosser that I think has a chance to be, a really good on-the-ball defender. So I like Wisconsin's draw and the opportunity to play Creighton maybe in a couple rounds down the road.
Now, on the flip side, there's always a couple of matchups which make you scratch your head, whether it's the fact that a Big Ten team was seeded perhaps too low or didn't get the opponent that they want. Who has the toughest draw from the Big Ten looking into the tournament?
I think about Ohio State, and I think about Ohio State just for the mere fact that you look at Dayton, and you look at teams that they have to play. Dayton has 5 guys from Ohio on their roster. They have a transfer from Ohio State. That's not an easy first-round matchup. And I don't know if Ohio State has enough offensive firepower to get them through, not only to the second round, but beyond.
Remember, Archie Miller, too. Dayton coach, former Thad Matta assistant. He knows the Ohio State system, though obviously that probably goes both ways.
Right. I think for me, it's hard to argue with Ohio State because you don't think Dayton wants this game.
You just don't like to argue with a female, I think.
Well, I didn't live this long by being stupid. And plus my wife went to Ohio State, so I've got to keep a lot of people happy. That's a very difficult decision. But I take a look at where Michigan is placed. The Wolverines got placed in a region along with Wichita State, Louisville, Kentucky, Duke. Coming out of that is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. And they have a kind of an interesting first-round matchup of their own in that 2-15, just because, you have a lot of variables there. One of Coach Beilein's point guards, Darius Nichols, is an assistant there. They're going to beat the Terriers. There's no question about it. But there's just a lot of interesting storylines in the road that they have to go. They're going to have to get through a whole lot of high-level talent to make it to Jerry World.
Never easy to get to the Final Four in any NCAA tournament. Michigan trying to pull off that very rare back-to-back double after going all the way to the national championship game and losing to Louisville last year.